With nothing absolutely important to do, like going up a level or anything, I'm going to get my Gloomhaven City event first. And I know these are kind of spoilers, you may want to skip ahead. You are wandering the sinking market looking for possible work when you're approached by a dirty-looking boy with a scar on his cheek. You greet him warmly. He's given you leads on a number of mercenary jobs, and you recently helped him avoid the jail cell. I need help. I really don't know who else to turn to, he begins. All of us here in the sinking market are in bad way. Our houses are collapsing, our water is foul, and we don't even have enough money for food. We're dying here, and the city is doing nothing to help us. You have friends in high places, right? Please, there's gotta be someone you can talk to. Huh? Well, let's try talking. Okay. Reputation greater than 9. It's close. Yes, we just hit the 10 reputation. Awesome. We win. You head for the coin district and meet with a member of the Merchants Guild you had dealings with. He looks at you skeptically but says he will see what he can do about making this more livable, gain a prosperity. Otherwise we'd lose a reputation, which would kind of suck. One of these stickers is really not working out well, especially when adventurers tell you, hey, you have some location, but you can't actually get it. So I don't want the sticker on the map for that. That'll just confuse me. But anyway, I found one as I'm researching to figure out what I'm doing that had been removed. This 27, the Ruinous Rift. This is why I went with Hail to go do something, right? Was to close the rift or whatever. Well, I forgot to put that one down or something. And but I had put it down at one point because probably it was, included in some other adventure. Before I get the power of enhancement, it tells me where to go. Well, so that is available, and I want to do that. However, I am modding this slightly. I don't think I should have to make a travel check to encounter something in Gloomhaven, given that I'm in Gloomhaven right now. So, I don't know if that's cheating or not, but those road adventures don't seem to make sense if I'm traveling from Gloomhaven to Gloomhaven. They're generally, external field type adventures. So I'm gonna not do one of those. And instead I'm gonna go do this this sewage thing. Part of me says I shouldn't do that. I should just go do this rift because it's probably harder. Oh, God. You see, I'm at max level still for what I'm facing, and that's appealing. Okay, we'll go out. I'm still looking over items just to make sure there isn't something I want to get. If I'm gonna go on the road, I'm probably gonna grab blessings though at $10 each instead. Start building up to get whatever the advantage is for having those. In order to delay that decision on whether or not I'm gonna change the rules on Gloomhaven itself, I am gonna go deal with the rift, which I wanted to do. So I spent 10 gold each boosting my little marker forward. I had to replace the marker. Now, this is one of the problems with Post-its. You can kind of stick them and remove them, but it doesn't always work, and like the ones on the map, they get knocked off, which kind of negates their effectiveness. I really should probably be using an erasable marker on the stickers, or something of that nature, but I don't know. I'm afraid like a China marker will leave a stain, and the erasables, well, they'll slobber onto the board. You see smoke on the horizon and catch the vague stench of burning flesh, and you hasten your step to see what catastrophe lies ahead for you on the road. After a few minutes, you come upon a trade caravan ravaged by a pack of vermlings, if the tracks on the mud are any indication. Dead bodies and broken, upturned carts lie across the path, but you also see a few survivors, wounded and bloody on the ground. A woman limps to the road, carrying pieces of wreckage. I could either help them, or finish the job the vermlings started and loot whatever's left. Yeah, no. We'll help them. The only question is whether or not we want to do it. Oh, we could have gained a gold with no negatives. Okay. So this is if we're mined one of these two characters, I think, which we're not. Otherwise, which are vermlings. You disperse through the scene, tending to people's wounds and getting them back to their feet. It takes a few supplies, but they each seem grateful to the end. Consume one small item each, but we also gain a reputation. That's kind of an expensive proposition. I mean, I can do something like throw my mana away for her. That's not too bad. I've been finding these kind of iffy. The recover cards, they can be really useful, but I've actually kind of peeked at the next scenario. It's a small board, but I've got to last 10 rounds on it, I think, so I don't know. But getting 2 cards back, that's just 1 round. Beyond that, well, it means that I can use a good set of cards and then immediately pull them back or reuse them or whatever. But I think that's a pretty minor effect. So we'll do that and we gain a reputation. I gotta say, the script on these letter markers is absolutely unusable to me. So here are 3 counters. One of these is an E, one is a D, one is an A, and I can't fucking tell. And I gotta tell you, trying to turn this into an E is just, you know, it blows my mind. I can never see the E. It's really fucking obnoxious to me how they're used. And the scripts look almost exactly the same. I understand the desire to create something kind of maybe more thematic in aspect, but honestly, if the Gothic scripts are going to be unable to be differentiating one letter from another because of the fact that you can rotate them, put something under them to indicate which direction they belong in or whatever, because this is just garbage. And yeah, I really, when weird fonts, when weird typefaces are used, to be more precise, that's often a disturbing factor for me in terms of a game. Now here, it's just not that big a deal, except that I keep thinking I'm losing a counter. I've lost a counter or something, and then I'm like, well, why do I have so many fucking A's? Like 3 of them, and nothing else. I don't know. This is the scenario setup. This will be Hale, and the party is allowed to surround her. Let's see what the intro says. On the way back to the Ruinous crypt, Hale seems happy as she trudges through the mud and you're eager to fight back at the demons and undead. It's been a long time since I've been outside of Gloomhaven, she says. We didn't find her in Gloomhaven. Swaying the elemental sensor back and forth as she walks. The city is necessary for my studies, but it feels good to take a small break and travel to this plane again, and with so much less danger this time as well. You look at the ace there questioningly. Sure, the cultists and demons aren't exactly friendly encounters, but the last time I traveled these lands, well, that is something I swore I would never speak of. Great. Hale grows silent as you arrive at the crypt. Opening the ancient doors, you half expect the place to be teeming with cultists and demons once again, but the stone halls are as silent and barren as death. You move towards the main chamber where you find a giant rift hovering above a demonic altar. Well, you certainly weren't kidding, Hale says. This thing is a beauty. The girth and stability, quite impressive. Hale walks around the perimeter of the altar, throwing sand in the air and watching it fall. Great. I'm pretty sure I can close it, thanks to old Stonebreaker's sensor here. I can't imagine the forces on the other side of this rift are going to be all too happy about it, though. She raises the sensor above her head with one arm and plunges the other elbow deep into the rift. Gather round, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be one killer party. Okay, so the biggie is special roles. Hale, A, is represented by a numbered token. Well, then why give her a letter? And she has 4 plus 4, 8 hit points. She's an ally and an enemy of all monster type. Initiative of 99. If she's killed, I lose. At the end of the first round, okay, there's nothing on the board at the first round, so I just have to burn some cards, I guess. One demon spawns on hex B. Down here. At the end of the second round, one demon spawns on hex E. At the end of each round after the second, 2 different demons on D and E. And at the end of every odd round, and on B and C, I guess that is, it's hard for me to see, at the end of every even round, the type cycles in the order of Night Demon, Wind Demon, Frost Demon, Sun Demon, Earth Demon, Flame Demon, and then back to Night Demon. All spawns are normal for 2 characters. Wind, Sun, and Flame Demons are elite for 3. So that's going to be kind of painful. And all are elite for 4. And my goal is to make this through 10 rounds without Hale dying, and then I guess she completes her task. I don't know how long 10 rounds is. I don't know how long most of the scenarios I play are. I'm assuming they take about 10 rounds, but it's kind of hard to tell. Let's give an example, though. So, for example, the Tinker has 12 cards. 10 rounds would mean he basically goes through 2 hands of cards because he's using 2 cards each time. And then there's rests and stuff in between too. So it sounds like a smallish scenario. I shouldn't have too much trouble with running out of time. I am a little worried about, demons can be tough, and I got a lot of prep to do setting things up. But I took my blesses into here. I didn't suffer anything too terrible on the road, so I think I got a pretty good chance of getting this. Cases in this game, you get sort of a pattern of cards that you tend to take with a certain character. And what's nice about scenarios like this, but it's also a downside, is that standard pattern doesn't work. Because of this particular scenario, people are focusing very heavily on healing so they can keep her alive, and things to keep the scenario going. Sure, you want to kill the enemies as they're showing up, but given that the goal is to keep her alive and to stay, keep your card hand alive and everything, maybe there's a little less focus on that. There's no real interest in a lot of movement in this scenario, so all those big movement cards, those become less important. Cards that do something other than movement on their bottom half become important. So there's a lot of trade-offs and a lot of changes to the deck. Anyway, I chose to go with melee with him. That was a hard call, actually. It always is. Does he want the bow? Does he want a melee? I don't know. Both are just one use. So, but the advantage of this is I get this with it, and it looks to me like I've got a few more melee-based attacks. This time, I'm going to need this marker. I decided to use a number marker so I can keep track of our wounds off board. I don't need anything special for that. I haven't figured out where everybody's going. I know he wants to go here because he gets to react to the early monster draws, and he has some stuff he wants to do playing with obstacles. And moving that altar will help. I kind of wonder if that's going to bug Hale if I shift the altar, but it's not part of the scenario that it would. So our heroes get sort of a free round where they get to prep, and in some cases that's getting some spells out, which might be beasts, but also getting some new terrain out as well. This will probably have some XP to grab that I haven't recorded yet, it looks like. But anyway, at this point then we start generating the monsters, and they come slowly, at first at least. At the end of the first round, one demon spawns in B. At the end of the second one at C. At the end of each second round after the second, 2 demons at D, and I think this is actually E. And every odd round B and C. So we're going to get one monster at a time for the first 2 rounds, and then 2 monsters at a time. And these are tough demons, some of them are elites, etc. So that's going to show up, but we do burn a turn. Got to get through 10 of these before she falls over. And I can actually lose everyone as long as she survives. Okay, and a second round, a little bit more prep work. This thing didn't move, which is a problem because I was trying to go late so it would have a chance to move forward. It didn't get to attack me either, and it took one hell of a shot. Craghart dropped a rock next to it. I guess and off a really good draw. I guess the biggest thing that happened was the Tinker gave Craghart back that card, so he'll be able to launch that kind of attack again. It's not going to be as good, though. This was a really good draw, so I don't know. And we got to pull up the next monster in line, which I actually guess I don't have these in order, and I really should. And in the next round, Tinker managed to stun the Wind Demon, so it didn't do anything. The Night Demon was killed before Tinker's skeleton managed to kill that before it got to do anything. But the Wind Demon's available next time. It only has 3 hits against it. And we're kind of running out of some of our faster cards. It always happens. You want to get the jump on things. And things haven't gotten too tough yet. Launch the altar over here. Oh no, that gets confusing. This thing's pretty tough. 2 more monsters coming up this time, and again, different types are going to show up. I can pull the Night Demon away. But that's the end of round 3, so we'll be going into round 4. And I don't know, kind of burning through cards faster than I'd like. I mean, it's like, yeah, we're almost halfway through. Yeah, but it hasn't gotten tough yet, right? It's going to. Not so good news. I had something in mind. Shit. I went to pee and thought about that. I can't move the terrain around like I have been until I do a rest, but there was something else that was annoying me. All right. Oh yeah, Craghart blew one of his blessing cards and only did 1 point of damage through it, just because it was a low damage attack to begin with. And let's see. The other side of it is, oh yeah, something outside the game. I'm probably only going to play this game this week, and who knows what happens next week, because I've got a little bit of a trip coming up, and won't be able, and I'm going to be sort of kind of some kind of vacation type thing for a few days next week. It's not. Vacations aren't something I do, but decided to put some vacation in on a stupid trip we have to take anyway. Round on the end of turn 4, we actually killed the Frost Demon, which is a little weird. I had enough power, I could have probably taken the Wind Demon out. It's tougher, but by not taking it out, I thought, well, I had him jammed in, he wouldn't be able to summon something, but something's going to show up adjacent to it anyway, which isn't optimal at all. I've got 2 more types of demons coming out, and then we go back around to the darkness, whatever. So I thought that was going to go, but it didn't work out. I could have looked at the cards and understood it better. The Wind Demon, this card's weird. I understand it now. He's doing a push 1 targeting all adjacent enemies, which pushed this. That's not what I thought was happening here. Then he does an attack 0 with a -2 range because he burned a green mana, which meant he didn't have anything he could attack. So it took me, that card was odd enough that I couldn't process it quickly, so I made some bad decisions based on that. We'll live with that. But what that means is that some additional critters are going to be spawned. And here at the end of turn 5, although I have to recuperate her cards, she took a long rest. Without really gaining anything, but I don't know, I could take a damage to avoid losing the card that I need to keep alive, but I didn't choose to grab my hand with a short rest anyway. It's too late now. This did not go well. The Wind Demon had ranged attacks, which I don't think were terribly effective, but I created some wind, which would then hinder the Earth Demon, but the Earth Demon still managed to kill the skeleton. This Flame Demon created a trap over here, and the Sun Demon created some sunlight, and whacked him. Remember, they don't try to create a second target ever. Like, if they blunder into it, that's great, but the fact that it could attack all adjacent targets or whatever isn't necessarily as big a deal, because they're not playing as cleverly as players would. And neither do the players' critters, which kind of crapped out on me, to tell you the truth. This thing hurt itself pretty badly, but then I healed it. Craghart healed himself. He took more damage when he shoved this fire demon into the rocks that are there. And I think that's really about it. So far, no damage has happened to her, but she could disappear pretty damn quickly if I'm not careful. Another thing that I thought was going to be impressive, like the stun trap and stuff, well, it might against certain of the demons, but a lot of these little fuckers fly. Half of them fly. And those are actually all the tough ones, all the elite ones are the flying ones. So I'm not able to get those stuns off as well as I hoped. And we're running low on cards. I got to think about these drawback potions. Looks like I've used them already. Crap. The ones that let me get my cards back. But yeah, we're beginning to feel pretty damn pressed at this point. There's just going to be 2 more demons showing up this next time, I think. Unless this space is one of them. I think it's these 2 spaces this turn. At this point, both Craghart and the Tinker are out of cards. I think they're going to do short rests, although Craghart could definitely use the long rest to get some hit points back. I was planning on healing with him, but instead I fired off some muddles. Speaking of which, the Earth Demon got his action, which was ineffectual. We knocked something out. I think we knocked out the Sun Demon. Yeah. But I believe that'll be coming back. Let's see. The Frost Demon's definitely coming back, and I think we're going to get a Sun Demon as well over on this side. But actually, no, because this is clogged. So we're just going to get the Frost Demon down here, which is kind of cool. But I do think we want to keep burning our cards. Yeah, keep burning turns here, because this is the end of 6. We only got to go 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 more turns. This is an interesting, very different feel from most of them. It was different when you had the, hey, you have to run through and do things. We had a couple like that. This is the first one where it's like, I just got to keep them at bay, and keep one character alive in particular. But it's just a very, very different tactics that you have to use. And I like that about the game. I definitely do, although it kind of, makes it a little more difficult to figure out what your hand's going to be to handle that. But yeah, it pleases me. So we ran into some problems, and part of it is with this many monsters out there, it's getting complex. I got to reshuffle her. That's her reshuffle one. But she managed to kill off, using a big attack, just the Night Demon. Scattered a little bit of damage elsewhere. My plan with the Tinker was to create a couple of traps and block these guys off and make it tougher for them to cope. Well, that didn't happen because I got beaten out time-wise by this Wind Demon, which this one killed the Spellweaver's critter. But this one pulled him into the stun trap, which is just horrible. Normally, you can arrange things so that you're not the one pulled in or whatever, but this just, it came up and I'm throwing traps all over the place, and yeah. So my own trap hit me. It's not during my turn, so I don't get my check mark for that even. And now I'm stunned and I'm wasting an action, basically. Which means, I don't know where we are. I think we're next on the Flame Demon, and that's a dangerous critter. Top of that, somebody, God, I don't know who, the Flame Demon, yeah, the dangerous guy, wounded both the dangerous contraption and the Cragheart. He had a target 2 on there, so he's able to fling things out. The Earth Demon kind of putzed out. Cragheart fire. He thought he was going to get an attack off. I don't know why. He really wasn't in position. I always think that you can fling something, but it's got to be adjacent to you to begin with. I've been doing it correctly. It's just when I'm planning, sometimes I make errors. And I had some thoughts of, maybe dropping something in there or whatever and causing some damage, but that doesn't seem like it. Well, that wasn't possible. And I just screwed up on it. She is holding the card she needs, so she could conceivably just do a quick recovery, which I see no reason not to, because she's not at all injured. And that's going to put us at the beginning of turn 8. So only 3 more turns left after this. I still have to reshuffle her, and I got a couple of monsters I got to reshuffle. All right, so that's the positioning. All we got was one more demon. This being clogged off is really helping us. That would have been another Earth Demon. Yeah, I know, but they're not the most potent of them. But, with just 3 more turns left, I think we've got a pretty good shot at this. But things are really beginning to speed up in terms of the amount of monsters I have to cope with. And I really don't have the kind of firepower to throw at them all. There's sort of a cyclic pace. Now these guys, they've just done 1 rest each, and they've got hands that are large enough that'll keep them going. But she has, this kind of, I've got 1 more shot to play my card, or to play 2 cards for this turn, and then I'll get 1 back and have to play that card next turn or whatever. So she's getting, drained down pretty quickly, and that's just something that happens to her, is that she starts burning through her cards. She did manage at least to get rid of her, a lot of her victory point cards. So like her 2 frost shields, she used those both. Usually I don't get them off because she's usually not sitting there in combat. I usually try to avoid getting her in combat anyway. But anyway, it's getting too damn cold up here. And I should be able to get some in on Saturday. I've got, like I said, a trip, so I gotta kind of rush this one out. Complexity in this one with all these demons, all the mana they're creating, all the weird effects that are happening, all the mana that they're eating, makes it's still plausible to figure out what's going to happen, but I don't like to think too much. So there's a lot of surprises going on, like mana I'm expecting disappears, or someone well, in this case I was expecting him not to get his range, but someone else ate it. This guy ate it and gave himself an extra target, which I didn't think was going to happen. Actually, it wasn't this one. Yeah, it was that the mana was created. And actually, that mana wasn't created in a way that I could have predicted. It was created by one of my card draws from my deck, which creates mana. So yeah, things can happen. A lot of muddling went on, which helped a little bit. Craghart, however, is down pretty damn low in hits, and I'm going to have to get him a healer. We got 2 more turns left after this one. This one's essentially done. Some things have been killed. One thing that's damn hard is tracking which monster I'm on. I've forgotten about that, and I take a couple of days off, and so I should put this eraser next to the next monster to come up. I think it's either the Sun or Flame Demon. I think I haven't cycled through them twice yet. And then, let's see. The other thing is which side it is, but that I can figure out. This is the end of turn 8, so that's actually covered in the rules directly. And unfortunately, one of the things I did wrong is I managed to kill this thing, which I think means I've opened up a slot for another monster. So it did me no good to kill it, and it may have actually done me harm if something stronger than the Ice Demon that was there shows up. Pretty likely that we'll make it. That's the end of turn 9. There'll be more monsters showing up, but the thing is, they're going to target my guys, not her. She goes last, so that's kind of cool. Spellweaver just regained her cards. A little bit of healing going on for the most part. Craghart almost dead, but he had to discard a card to save his life there. But he created some rocks, healed himself, and the Spellweaver, who was getting hit too. And I think we're gonna make it through. I gotta bring the other summons up. And a bunch of reshuffles. And it's so fucking cold up here. Forgot his healing didn't actually give him hit points. It got rid of his wound that was bleeding him this whole time, so I had to rearrange that. He's down to 2 hit points. He probably is going to have to discard a card again. He's going to be doing a fast recovery, even though, normally I would totally want to do a slow recovery here, get hit points back, get things back. I just got to last one more round, so whatever I can do to expedite that. Well, it was, I forgot about the Sun Demon. So far it's been fine, but it was the last going thing. Oh no, that's a Flame Demon shit. Okay, well, we're jumping back. But he can't move. He launches an attack. It's going to be going against him because he's closer, and that means the secondary attack will be on her. Our erstwhile Hail did take damage this time. The Night Demon managed to launch an attack on her. He had a 2-target attack, hit Craghart and her, but somebody was able to heal her. So even if this attack was to go through to her, it probably wouldn't do much. I don't see a reason to draw the cards for it particularly. It doesn't make much difference if you knock the characters out at this point, but okay, I'll do it anyway. Why not? Came close to having an effect because she has to get down to 3 cards total. Unfortunately, she's at 4, even after having trashed 2 cards to prevent damage to herself. So she's not going to get her little mark. That was the one possible effect of that, is that she could get her mark. So, conclusion, Hale screams out with hair-raising intensity. You look at her, afraid that more demons got past you and are attacking her. Instead, you see her pulling her hand back out of the rift. Her forearm is withered and smoking. As her gnarled fingers clear the chaotic energies of the rift, it wavers and begins to shrink. A great wind picks up in the chamber, and the demons fighting with you show fear for the first time. Instead of digging their claws into you, they grab at the stone floor, desperate to stop the pull of the rift. Their efforts are futile, however. Every last one is sucked back into their own plane good. The tear shrinks to one brilliant point and disappears. Hale collapses, and you run to her side. "Oh, don't mind me," she coughs. "I'll be fine. This old body has seen far worse." Okay. She breaks into a fit of coughing that soon turns into laughter. "That really was something, though, wasn't it? If there's one thing I can depend on you for, it's a challenge. Here, help me up. I need to get back to Gloomhaven immediately. I have many new thoughts for my research. Feel free to come by any time, and I'll figure out some way to properly thank you." So we get the rift neutralized, and we're going to get +1 prosperity and 100 gold each that has to be spent on enhancements. Shit. Wow, that's going to be painful. Now, one thing, you can't loot summoned creatures. I'm not sure these counted as summoned. And so there were some opportunities for looting that maybe should have happened that I didn't take. No coins appeared in this. But yeah, I'm going to have to do some thinking about how to resolve this. Not a lot of XP anywhere. He did not get his 13. He got to 10, which is pretty good, but he didn't get to drop his trap. So we're not going to get any check marks, which is the thing that's probably most valuable that you can gain from the scenarios. And I have to buy card enhancements. Now, is it immediate? Must immediately be spent. I can't spend them except at Gloomhaven normally. So this 100 just has to be spent right now on that, and otherwise no treasure, I guess. Crap, I thought I was going to get piles of money that I could use for, I don't know, in conjunction with the money I have for enhancement. And I thought it was worse, but I forgot you get 8 XP for successfully completing an adventure at 2nd level. It looked like only she was going to go up a level. Now everybody's going to go up, so we're all going to be 5th level, which means we'll be looking at a level 3 dungeon, but at least we've got 3 people who are there. We also have Prosperity 3, which I think allows, I don't remember. I don't remember if that's level 2 or level 3. If I can bring in level 3 characters, then it's not so bad in a way, but a level 2 isn't going to help me at this point. Nothing else too exciting happens. I got to figure out what I want to do for the enhancements, I guess, and then it's time to head back to Gloomhaven. And this is Ruinous Rift. Back from my little trip down to San Francisco. It's really interesting, actually. Parts of it are a filthy town, but other parts were pretty damn nice, actually. A lot of walking I did. I don't visit cities the way you're supposed to visit them. Just spend time wandering and wandering and wandering, sometimes over the same little neighborhood. Anyway, I was hoping to get this done before that, but I figure I'll do it now so that I can prepare for the next adventure. I had to buy, and I had to spend, I guess, exactly 100. I mean, I could spend less than that, but on enhancements to cards, I couldn't throw in money as far as I can tell. So for that, got this guy a +1 attack on the battle bot. I tend to use that all the time. So now with a 3 attack, and that costs the 100 right there. Boom. Good enough. For the Cragheart, I added a Muddle to the crater, and I added a Bless to this healing. That seemed like I really wanted the Bless. I thought about doing it with him. Over here, I was also thinking the same kind of lines, but instead what I did was I added a hit point to the Mystic Ally, who always seems to, 2 hit points is just too little. I was thinking about putting instead a Bless on the heal, but I couldn't put both on this card without doubling the cost of one of them, which of course wouldn't work. And I added 1 to the attack on the Frost Armor, which is a card I use a lot. One of the goals here, except for the ally here, well, both the allies really, enhancements, was, hey, let's try to aim to put good stuff on cards that not only do I like to use anyway, but also that have kind of a low number on them. That just makes them more attractive to use. So like the attack here on a 20, that's really good. This would have been a very appealing choice as well. I'm not sure why I did it on this one. I think I'm going to move that over here. Luckily, I have stickers that are movable. I could have actually put a +1 on both of those, which might have been appealing too. Both of these also generate experience points, so that's pretty good. This one's a little faster card, so I think it's better, and there's more of a chance that I might want the frozen armor, so I'm going to move that. The The limitation that I couldn't throw money in was kind of painful because I was getting myself up to the point where I wanted to start buying advancements. Another thing is, oh yeah, you can't do it to more than like this. I gotta redo this. I did this to the level 4 card. That would have cost 400 instead of 100, so that's not gonna work. Yep, so a couple little changes. One, I took it off the Mystic Ally here. I put a +1 on both of these attacks. I think I like that better anyway. The Ally just isn't, I don't think the extra hit point was worth it. But then for him, well, I had to take it off this because that was a level 4 card, which I didn't notice. I forgot, because he has 2 contraption critters. And then here, I put a +1 instead on the stun shot, which I always like to take. I would have liked to have multiplied the number of stuns I could get, but that wasn't an option. And then I put a bless on here. One of the problems with doing this, first of all, the removable stickers, they come off things, but it's not necessarily trivial to get them off. And peeling the sticker off a card isn't very easy. Now, if you make a mistake like I just did and throw your sticker on a little too quickly with the original set, yeah, you're screwed. And what if you make an error and cheat? Well, you've just put a permanent sticker on something, you know. And again, I really don't like the concept of legacy means you destroy the game for a lot of reasons, but I'm just giving you more reasons to dislike it. Over here, I put the bless on. Now, there aren't a lot of blesses. I've used 2 out of 5 of them up. And this is kind of a problem because if I retire this character, who will probably retire fairly soon, he's gotten a lot of his check marks, that bless is gone. You know, there's a lot of plus markers. And they're all +1s. You can only, I guess, upgrade something by 1 anyway. But anyway, you know, that of course I could cheat away by peeling it off, but I don't feel like that's fair within the campaign. But it's yet another disincentive towards exploring the characters, these stickers that you enhance your cards with. Another thing is, you don't shuffle these cards usually, but you're supposed to when you do a fast heal, a quick rest, whatever, and get your cards back. And these little stickers aren't going to make it possible to shuffle anymore. You'd have to either sleeve your cards, which of course I don't like doing, or roll a die, which is what I usually do anyway, because I don't trust shuffling small decks very well. So I do try to do that. Anyway, I'll send this up. I could be prepping my next scenario on this one, but I don't want to. Another little trick I found over there, my battery thing. I don't know if you can see the little red light on it, but the red light means it's charging, and I was having trouble. It wasn't charging, but now turning it around, it's working better. And that's all because this camera doesn't charge. The power cord no longer hooks up to it, so I had to get that little thing. Well, that little thing started falling apart too. Just, you know, problems of life. And we'll see if I can get enough energy up to maybe start setting up the next scenario, but I want to fly my spaceship a little bit more. I've gotten myself hooked on Rebel Galaxy, an old video game, and I'm having too much fun with that to really want to do the board games in the cold up here. I don't know. I got another room I could use that's fine, but my wife would get grumpy.